Over to her.
God bless you, everyone, and greetings in the mighty name of Jesus. Tonight, I am doing a topic, and I will not be presenting on camera throughout the topic, but I am just going to introduce briefly what I'm about to do and say. We are in a real world tonight, and in this age, and from ever since we have been in the real world, and we face real situations. And what I'm actually looking at tonight is somewhat maybe a continuation of something that I've done before about anxiety and other emotional behaviors. So tonight I'm going to be looking at how anxiety and other behaviors affect us as Christians in a real world. So quickly, I look at anxiety again, and here anxiety is a diffuse state of mind and action. So sometimes you become worried, you become disturbed because of what is going through our mind, what we're thinking about. Sometimes we face things along the way, whether at work or at home. We just face varying situations that cause us to become anxious. And by this anxiety, sometimes we can't even contain ourselves because we become excited to the point sometimes that we just can't control. Take, for example, a sporting event, and we go and we see people doing different activities, and they have their person who they are boosting to win, and they're open to see that team win. And sometimes the person who they are boosting, may not come up in as the winner, but nevertheless, it causes a state of anxiety within them to see whether the athlete's running or whatever they're doing. Somebody wants to see somebody win. Somebody wants to see somebody succeed. Nobody wants to fail, and all of these things take place. So anxiety is a real situation that we all face, and it affects us in different ways at different times, and we function in different ways as a result of it. So then, anxiety is caused by many different things, and that cause us to become anxious and nervous, to the extent that they have allow us to avoid important activities. So sometimes we have something to do that is really and extremely important, and we tend to avoid it, cancel it, and stay away from it because we are too anxious or too nervous. So this is what anxiety is actually about, and what it causes us to do and how it causes us to feel. And there are two kinds of anxiety disorders. One is called panic disorder, and the other one is obsessive compulsive disorder. So the panic disorder one is the one that in our stomach we feel so anxious that we can't even think straight. We start doing a lot of weird things because we start to panic. Our mind becomes disturbed sometimes because our minds are controlled our bodies, and it becomes so frightened and so fearful that we can't contain ourselves at times because we get into a panic and a frenzied state of mind. And the obsessive part of it is when they become too involved in it, too engaged in it. So we are obsessed over, we keep on doing the same thing over and over, whether we are listening to something on the radio or whatever, but it's so compulsive to excess. We did it a million times, or extremely, extraordinary time to do the people in the same thing. So it becomes compulsive and obsessive. So somebody may say, you're obsessed because when you keep on doing the same thing over and over again. And that's what anxiety is also about also. Okay, and as a result of this anxiety disorder, it affects our mood, because our mood is what helps us to function. So sometimes we are happy, sometimes we are sad, sometimes we want to cry, we want to sleep, and not even sleep. We want to run away sometime from the situation. That is very needful and very important, because what? Our mood is acting up, and we cannot control our mood. We become extremely fearful and say, I wonder if I'm going to do something that, someone is going to ridicule me, or someone is going to, say I'm doing stupidness or whatever. So our mood becomes disturbed also, and we can't think straight because our mood is affected. And here mood refers to an individual's state of mind, because it is the mind in which we think. It is the mind in which we operate. Our mind is what we really function with effectively. And if our mind is not, at the right place, and if you cannot control our mind state, and we can't think straight, then it means that we are going to think in a disturbed manner. And we're going to start to do things that, we would normally do, and not even normal, but things that we wouldn't want to do. And only find that we're doing things that we don't want to do. Sometimes we become embarrassed. Sometimes we become, different things start to affect us because we realize our minds are not at the place that it should be. Okay, so mood refers to an individual's state of mind, whether we are angry, or we are sad, or become boisterous, or we are calm, or, to the degree of the issue that caused us to be so upset or so disturbed. And sometimes it's a lengthy period of time we remain in this state. Sometimes we can override it and come out of it quickly. Other times, when we keep on being obsessed by the thing, then it takes a longer period of time for us to really overcome what is affecting us. And therefore, we go up into different frenzy, different mindset, because our mood is not, what it should be, and our mood is actually disturbed. Everyone at one point or another experience emotional issues, or we call it mood swings. And mood swings here, we know what a mood swing, or we can maybe try to imagine. We talk about a swing, it's not like a swing song, no. The swing here is a shift. So our mind shifts to something else. We want to do one thing, and our mind is not steady. So become, in other words, unsteady in our mind state. And we've started to do something different. And while doing that, we say, but that's not what I really want to do. And that's not what I should do. But our mind is not too steady because of what we're really going through. But everyone at some point or another, I said, experience emotional issues of one sort or another. And these issues cause us to really reflect. They cause us to really behave in different ways. Like I said, sometimes embarrassing ways, sometimes weird ways, sometimes unique ways, sometimes ways we are proud of, yes. But sometimes you don't even know why we do it or why, we choose to do it. But it's a part of life. Okay. So I was talking about the mood swings here. And it says that mood swings are a normal part of life, depending on how soon we can deal with a situation that anger us or cause us to be our moods to shift. And mood swings can be caused from many different things. If we are upset, if we are disturbed, somebody bother us, and they become angry, trying to tell them, okay, I can't deal with that now, but they're not seeing what we are saying. And they feel that you should have time or tolerance then to deal with them or with that their situation, and you can't cope with that time. You may tend to go off on a tangent and become, worried. And they might say, okay, so why are you behaving this way? And you say, okay, I'm behaving this way because I told you that I can't deal with what you're doing as I see in the moment, and they don't see your point. And sometimes you become so angry and upset that your mind, your mood shift. So mood shift here can be caused from different things. And our mood can also be affected due to the anxiety or the fear, or if we are hungry, or if there's an illness of one sort or another, we can experience a mood swing or a mood shift. Lack of sleep also, or tiredness, or unemployment, overworking, these things can cause people to have mood swings or anxiety behaviors. I remember one time, even having children, mothers having a young child can go off in a mood swing. And I remember many years ago, when I had one of my children, I didn't know about this term. I didn't even know that there was a term called mood swing. And while at the hospital, I was not tall at the time. And I don't know if the children had at the time though, but while I was there, and I said to the nurse, I was going through this stressful situation. And I said to the nurse, I'm going through a mood swing. And she said to me, mood swing? How do you know about that word, that term, mood swing? And I remember I said that it was the first that the term that came in my mind. But because of how I felt after having the child, worried and want to cry sometimes and so on. I said to her, I'm having a mood swing. And she was shocked to know that I, as not a nurse, or whatever, would use that term as mood swing. And she said, I didn't already know that term. She said that to me. She said first she was hearing the term, basically, where you know the term from. And I said, I don't, it just the term just came to me, mood swing. And here I am, based on graduate studies and so on. I realized that the third time when I got that thing, it just revealed to me then. And now it's a reality because mood swing is a real thing that I have learned about. No, why I'm bringing it back to you now tonight, that to let you know that not because I experience it sometimes ago as a naive person when I used it, but now I can talk of it with more authority because mood swing is a real term that persons go through, whether or not they realize it. We go through mood swings, and it doesn't have to be like illness. Like I said, it can be just you may be hungry, you may be tired, you may be sleepy, lack of rest, overworked, and a lot of different issues can cause you to become moody. You call it moody. You may come home and say, boy, I'm so tired and can't contain myself because what? And somebody wants to do something to suit them and they say, no, I can't. But your mood starts shifting. So mood swings are really normal and natural, and it's a real state of mind. And these issues can more often result in fluctuating hormones. And the hormones here are what takes place within our bodies, because our hormones are what cause us to behave the way we do. And when hormones based on the foods we eat, the type of food we eat, our hormones can, become so dominant, so vibrant that, we can't contain ourselves. We just want to keep on working because what our hormones, we eat a lot of proteins and nutritious whatever, and our hormones are so active. Another time our hormones become so dominant, so normal or abnormal then that you become so weak and can't function because our hormones are not at the place that they should be. So then fluctuating hormones in our bodies can cause us to either be inactive or become overtired or hyperactive. And there are persons who sometimes hyperactive, and they call it when sometimes persons keep on doing one thing, ADD, and they will just want this constant attention deficit disorder, right? ADD, and they keep on doing it because what they want attention. And you see somebody doing something and wonder why they do it over and over again. And because sometimes they have this ADD thing, attention, they want attention, and it's a lack in their body that if they don't get that thing done, they cannot function properly. So the ADD is also important. The attention, if you don't get it, they cannot function effectively. And they have to go different places to get it because it's a deficiency in their bodies, whether it's a lack of food or nutrients, but the ADD affects them and they cannot function normally as they would want to function. So when we see persons behaving in a particular way, we should not ridicule them and say, okay, why are you behaving the way you do? And you shouldn't be behaving that way. No. We may say yes if we don't understand why the person is behaving that way. But when we are more informed and when we are more learned, then we understand why the person behaves the way they do, because it's a need in their bodies that they can't function effectively unless that need is being addressed. And when the need is being addressed, then they'll be able to function normally and more, more maturely, because what? Their needs are met. Just like a little baby, for example, or a young child, and we see the child doing certain things, and a mother or maybe a young mother may not understand why the child is behaving a certain way. The child wants attention. And if you don't give the child that attention, the child may become boisterous or start to behave odd. And a mother who doesn't understand the child is going to start to abuse the child because the child needs love, the child needs comfort, and the mother may be tired, not knowing the child needs comfort and even food for that matter. And the mother might be doing something, or the parent or caregiver or whoever maybe they're doing something else, ignoring the child, and the child go off to other things. And that is why we have a lot of deviant behaviors with young children. And when they become adulthood, in adulthood now, they start to behave. And this thing continues until they can find somebody who understands them and say, okay, the child or the individual are behaving this way because it's a need in their body. And when this need is addressed, then they are able to behave more mature and more, appropriate. So therefore, these issues then are more often resolved in fluctuating hormones in our bodies, causing inactivity, like I said, tiredness or hyperactivity, and the cause deviation and deviant behavior. Also, persons who are gifted, yes, people are gifted or talented, they call it sometimes gifted, talented. So for example, in a school, and a teacher has a class with maybe 30, 40 children teaching, and a set of children are more brighter than another set. The ones who are slower may start behaving in a particular way, and likewise the ones who are more brilliant will start behaving in another way, or likewise, because what? The ones who are brighter, they quickly do their work, and they do everything else because the teacher gives them all of them one set of work, unless she can identify and, in other words, group them and realize that, okay, you can't put the bright student with the slow students. You must separate them at some point or another. Because if you add the bright ones and the slow ones, you're not going to get the full success that you want for that class. So at some point or another, you will have to separate the class in groups so the children work independently. And when they work independently, you get a better result from them. But for a teacher, then, like I said, who doesn't know, she's going to have everybody in one setting. Sorry, yes. She's going to have everybody in one setting. And when she has all of them in one setting in a class with 30, 40, or whatever the number of children, bright one finish first, slow one started making paper planes, and started sail it across the place. Because what? They're either jealous of the bright ones who finish first, or they don't know what to do, and therefore they start to do deviant work in the class, and pandemonium sometimes may set in. And when this starts setting in, because what the children wants attention, and then it causes problems. But like I said, a mature person will know how to deal with it. And I can just tell a little incident here. In one class I had once, I was doing a practice teach because we're having examiners coming to the school to examine us, and I had my class well, we're going to have the examiners coming this particular day. And when the examiners came to assess me, put that way, in the class, the students were there behaving quite well. And they came in there. Some of them have never had a visit, maybe at their home or whatever. So when these two examiners came to assess me today, I saw two little students got up out of the class, all unprepared, unknown to me. And they went in front of the class and they started a little issue. And I became I panicked, because not really panicked, but I was embarrassed because I knew my examiners were there. And here it was, these two students had to cause a disturbance in the class. And the students, the examiners were there looking on. And something after a while, they just went back and sat down. I don't know if somebody set them up the day to do it. I don't know, really. But all I know that they went there and they did it. Granted, after the thing, I got a very good mark, because the examiner said, well, children behave in unpredictable ways. And that was what took place that day. They behave in an unpredictable manner, not because of what I did, but because visitors were coming to the class. And because visitors were coming to the class and they wanted attention, they went to get their attention from whatever. And I got a good grade then. So I'm just saying then that sometimes, because of this ADD, and because of the mood things, and because of the various issues that, fluctuating hormones in people, sometimes they behave in different ways. And sometimes it can be, like I said, undesirable. Sometimes it can be embarrassing, but sometimes we can see the good results if we are able to inform people why people behave the way they do, and help others how to deal with the situation. Okay, so shifting hormones can cause these things, and fluctuating hormones can cause them based on how our bodies function. And it says also that mood swings may occur as a result of health issues. And a little of that part of that I said already about the childbirth and so on, how the mood swings can affect us in different ways. We just start, behaving in sad ways. We don't know why we're crying. We don't know why we are emotional, but it is because we are affected by something that is taking place within our bodies. And when we are able to overcome those situations, we are able to inform others how to behave in similar situations if they are faced with it. Okay, so we be able to be informed. And also, I'm just going to slip over this now to emotions of other persons, and we, in fact, can become overwhelmed by our emotions at times and behave in negative ways, whether positive or negative. We can be overwhelmed. And also, fear. Fear can cause us to behave in unpredictable ways. So if we become fearful, like for example, when those two examiners were examining me that day, if I was extremely fearful and if I was upset, for example, then I become fearful and say, wow, here I am fearful and I'm going to fail my exam and so on. And fear could have taken the better part of me. But I was very confident because I know I'd done my work of the day many years ago, like I said, it was. But at that time, I wasn't too fearful, but just embarrassed a little because of the action. But then afterward, I realized the part of the children growing up and so on. So it didn't, affect me for very, very long. So fear then is an enemy of success. And fear sometimes causes us to run from what we're doing. And even though we know we are heading towards success, fear can cause us to experience failure, right? So when we become too fearful, instead of getting success, we can get failure. Fear can also bring on feelings of guilt and shame. And guilt and shame and disappointment, remorse and sadness and feelings of failure, and all of these things can have adverse effects. Sometimes we can sometimes we are even unable rather to get the desired result that we are seeking. But what we have to do is try and come to grips with our situation and see how best we can relax, or we can be better able to manage ourselves. So if we find that we are not too calm, we just have to sit down and relax a little. They say sometimes if you are angry, you should count 10, or if you're trying to control yourself, sit down and you pause a little, get a grip of yourself, and then you continue to do what you are doing in a more stabilized manner. So sometimes if I realize I'm too worked up, I may pause for a little because I realize I'm becoming too excited. And I know that it's the excitement that is causing me to overreact, or maybe sometimes speak a little too fast. Because sometimes we talk fast because what? We're just trying to finish what we are saying too quickly. Because what? We are in a stage of anxiety and our mood swings and our mood shifts and so on. So sometimes we behave in unpredictable ways. But like I said early on, the more we are able to understand why we behave the way we do, it's better we be able to be informed and help other persons to be able to deal with the situation more competent and reliable. Okay, so we can learn also vital lessons in endurance, lessons of faith, lessons in grace and patience from our life's experiences. And these things at times help us to have compassion on other persons. We will be more humble and show humility and forgiveness. We'll be able to have more perseverance and gradual awareness. You'll be able to have more resilience and more and even to offer sometimes compromise. And compromise here is not that you are putting up with something that is wrong. No, compromise in this sense is that you said you understand why you behave the way they do, and they say, okay, I will share your situation because I know that if you understood what it is all about, you wouldn't behave the way you do. So I put myself in your shoe and I help to understand your situation and I deal with you, at that level. So it's not a matter of, compromising in something that is undesirable. You're just trying to show the person understanding and, compassion. So it's a form of compromise here. And irrespective of our circumstances and reasons why we do the things we do, we'll be able to be benefited from the whole process, even through reconciliation and the process of healing. But sometimes these things help us to be more resilient. Like I said, if we were doing something out of order, out of context, we can be able to help others to reconcile the situation through a process of healing. Someone was wrong, someone was, at fault or something, and they felt guilty, and we even tried to put guilt on them. And then realize that, we were the ones who were wrong. We can even offer them, so, okay, sympathy or, forgiveness, or say, okay, I was wrong and you were right. Or if I was right and you were wrong, we can, there can be a compromise there because they understand that they were the ones who were wrong and you were right, or vice versa. So in that process, healing and reconciliation can take place amicably. Okay. Now, when persons are able to, irrespective of the situation that causes our moods to swing and our moods to shift, and irrespective of, what has actually caused us to behave the way we do, when we realize that, these things occur, if we can be able to release the energy, whether it's a negative energy, or a positive energy that we are operating on. When we can be able to release this energy and behave naturally, then we'll be able to be in a more steady state. So if we were depressed and we are able, somebody causes us to be depressed, and we can be able to, relax and become calm, irrespective of the situation that causes us to be in that mood, and we can relax our mind, then we can release what had caused us to be upset or to be depressed or to be in the depressive state, and we can be able to help others, whether the person is in a, like I said, the state the person is in. We can understand their mindset and help them, whether it's in a negative or a positive way. And we can help others even who maybe attempting to go to extreme, because sometimes because persons are going to extreme levels, they can't control themselves. Sometimes they're even at the point of giving up. And this is where sometimes they call mania. Mania is so high, and the person is so depressed, and they cannot control themselves. So they go in a state of mania and low depression or high depression. And this can affect individuals. Bitterness can show that there is a lack of control. So when we go to a situation and we become angry, or become upset, or become disturbed, and we become bitter, bitterness here shows us that the way we are heading. It shows the mindset that we are in. And when we realize that we are in a mindset that we become bitter, it is telling us that we are lacking of self-control. It tells us that we need mastery of our emotions. It tells us that we need to control our emotions a little better, because when we start to become bitter, we start to become overwhelmed, and we need to overcome these states that we are going in and become a little calm and be more relaxed in dealing with what we are dealing with. So bitterness, and we may become discomfort, and this discomfort state also indicate that there is a need for attention. So if we become discomfort in something, it could be telling us that we need attention in that particular area regarding that issue, irrespective of the area what we may focusing on, and we start becoming uncomfortable into it and discontent. So if you're in a job, for example, and you start to feel discontent in your job. You want to feel like leaving a job. You don't have another job to go to. You don't have any money to suffice you until you get a job, but you want to walk off your job. It tells you that something is wrong. You become bitter. And when you're bitter, you want to just walk off your job. You don't have another job. You don't know where the next meal is coming from. Where you're going to walk off the job. It's telling you that something is radically wrong. You have to get a grip of yourself and, check yourself instead of wreck yourself. Because if you don't check yourself, you're going to wreck yourself. And sometimes you go into a mood of overspending. You start overspend just to keep up with, a situation. We just try to overspend to feel that we are satisfying that need. So sometimes the need to us is so important, and the need to us is so pressing. And if we don't get it, it feels that we can't function. So therefore, we have to get this need, right now. It has to be met now. And if it's not met now, well, I can't contain, I can't go, I'm going to go overboard. That's how we start to feel. And if if I don't get it now, I'm going to go after the records. What? Because what? It's a mood swing, and we're going to have into a state of mania. It tells us that we have to check ourselves, because what? We need rest. When you see that these mood things are coming in, take a break. Go somewhere and rest. Maybe go and sit down. Go around, walk around, start to do something. Maybe it's a little dusting. A little walking, get water in the garden. If you have a garden, you water it. Do something, a little exercise, because your body is talking to you. Say you need some rest. And if you don't take stock, what happens? You're going to maybe have pressure. And when your pressure starts, you start to take tablet when maybe what? You don't need it. And because you don't know what is happening to you, you go and take medication. And the medication puts you in a different mood. And something is start happening to you. Because what? You're uninformed. But just take a break, take a pull when these things start happening to you. I can many times, like I said, let me just pause for a second and even swallow my, because there's a thing in our body named mucus, right? And mucus sometimes we become too active or overworked. The mucus in our mucus, it comes down and we can't even contain ourselves, and that affects me many times. So I'm saying to us, one of the reasons why I went to do counseling, and I'm going to just pause a second here and swallow my lollipop, just to talk, just be calm. So I'm saying here now, yes, I'm going to be calm now. So I'm saying here, many years ago, I used to come home from work, and while coming home from work, the younger children I ordered as well, don't call me really, I don't know, far to reach, but the younger children basically, they will wait for me when I come home, because I would always take something for them from work, and whichever of them need me first, that one would want to get what I take for them. And even if it's sharing, the first person will want most of it. And one day I said, but boy, I'm becoming too stressed. And I said, something, I'm going to do a course in counseling, because I need to know how to deal with my situation. And thanks be to God, I did it. More than one place is the largest relative. I just keep on doing this thing, go there, some, and I keep on doing different areas of it and so on. And those days I didn't even write yet, come into writing much yet. But the point I'm saying is that it helped me helped me a whole lot, because it helped me to deal with stress until I was able to write about stress. It helped me to deal with anxiety, and I was able to write about anxiety. It helped me to deal with emotions, and I was able to write about emotions. And I'm not really going off on a tangent then, but I'm just saying that maybe something can help somebody here and then, that when we go into situations, if we can really get a grip of what is causing us to behave the way we do, then we'll be able to be more calm. So like when I talk, for example, and I know sometimes I'm becoming anxious, and therefore I myself sometimes take a pull. If I'm in a setting to take a pull, then I have to take a pull. But sometimes if I'm not in a setting to take a pull, then I have to continue doing what I'm doing until I complete what I'm doing, like I'm doing here now. So I continue here with my topic. So here I was saying then that discomfort indicates that somebody needs attention in that sense, and they become this discomfort. But when it starts coming on, you must know that you need to take a pull and you need to go and do something and get yourself intact so you can continue. And I was also talking about the job situation. So I was saying, for example, just a reinforcement here, that if for example, you feel that you are so overwhelmed that you need to walk off your job, I would suggest no, you don't really walk off your job, but you realize what is happening to you, take a pull, get some help, and after you can control yourself, then after a while, you will know that you're in a better situation to deal with what is affecting you one way or another. And here I would say also, so then, the different emotions in our bodies tells us what is taking place in our bodies and how we need to deal with it in a more practical way and a more positive way. And also, anxiety, the point here. So anxiety tells us that we need to be alert. So when anxiety comes on, like sometimes it comes on even me, it is telling us that we need to be alert and be available, whatever this say, but need to be alert and available. Okay, so if we are stuck in a situation in the past, if we are stuck in something in the past, for example, and we become anxious about it, it means that we are to be aware and take stock and look at what is happening to us and deal with it, that in the future it doesn't really happen to us again because we are too anxious. And here I'm talking about calmness now. When we become calm, trying to control our anxiety, and we become calm, calmness suggests that we are learning from past experiences. So if we were overexcited and over anxious, and we manage to overcome that anxiety, and we become calm, then the calmness here tells us that we are learning, we are maturing a bit more from the anxiety, and we are able to learn from the experiences. We're able to adjust to future outcomes, and we are able, based on previous knowledge that we have gained. So, for example, if I was afraid of, say, going on an escalator, if I was afraid of going on the escalator, and after a while, I find I can just step on the escalator and I'm not afraid anymore. It means that I am becoming an overcome a part of the anxiety that caused me to be afraid of the escalator. Or if I was afraid of lizards, then, for example, or whatever I was afraid of, and I find that I can be a bit more able to manage myself, it means that I'm learning from my situation and I'm more able to manage it a little better than I could before. So in coming down quickly, I am just going to go over here quickly a little before I come down and tell what are some of the things that we can do apart from listening to our body. So then, the anxiety disorder here, it causes us to become extremely nervous, just recapping. It causes to become extremely nervous to the extent that we avoid activities. So, for example, if I have a very important occasion to attend and I become too anxious, the first thing is going to come to my mind, don't worry to go, I don't worry to do this, because what? I'm afraid of the outcome. I'm afraid that I won't be able to do the thing positively, and I just can't, I don't know how I'll be able to function. So I'll become extremely anxious about the whole situation. But it is telling me that if I master it, then I am maturing in that level and I'm able to overcome it. But if it continues to a degree, it means that I'll go off into a panic disorder. So if the anxiety is not dealt with, it means that I'll go off into a panic disorder. I mean, I become over panic. I started to, can't contain, or person, not me really, but we can't contain ourselves. I mean, like the way we should, if we become in a panic disorder state of mind, which is an intense fear, shortness of breath. So, and this here is very important because sometimes ago we heard about what was taking place in the world was captured. That was work, I don't know. But when the world was overtaken a few years ago in the pandemic, and some of these same symptoms surfaced, right? And here it says, panic disorder results in individual having sudden periods of intense fear, cause panic attacks. And it says this may occur several times a day, so or a week. So the panic attack may several times a day or a week. You find yourself just start to become fearful and can't contain yourself. Also, there is an intense fear, extremely fearful for everything you are fearful. Also, shortness of breath, choking sensations. Gradually, the feeling decreases when we try to overcome. So if you don't overcome it, it continues. But if you don't overcome it, it continues, right? And these are normal states because of anxiety. So let me stress that anxiety, I'm not saying that every situation, I'm not saying that every situation is caused by anxiety, but these traits here are things caused by anxiety. So these can be caused in other areas of persons' life, or lifestyle, based on what we do in life. Maybe overworking or overtiredness, some of those things. Like I said earlier, these things can, surface based on how we operate on our daily schedule on lifestyle. So then, I need not reinforce them, but it says leaving the individually shaking and emotionally drained. So if we start to see, we start about choking and feeling tired, extremely, you have the energy leave you. Maybe you can drink a little water. Maybe you can take a break, drink a little water, sip it sometimes, and to used to get out of ourselves, go and lie down a little. Then we can maybe walk around. Well, I do my gardening, here and there. Yes, I do my gardening here. That's what I love from childhood. So it doesn't matter who I am and how far I excel. I do my little things because that's what helps us. And I can impart to other persons that these are real lifestyle skills that we can help to function as individuals effective. So if you can dwell in gardening, when you buy the things and at home, whether you buy your pumpkin or whatever, instead of throwing away the seeds in the if you have the space to put them even a little container, put them there, they will grow, and it will help you to smile when you see them start growing. Yes. So whatever little thing and you're doing a little farming or whatever, you do them, and it helps you to feel a little more relaxed. So these things are helpful hints to overcome panic disorders and emotional disorders such as anxieties, fears, and other phobias. And likewise, headaches, and these are other symptoms. These are other symptoms that can be seen as a result of anxiety and other disorders. Disorders, however, is more pronounced. It is excessive, more irrational, worrying about everyday possibilities, such as health. You may worry about headache when it's not even a full headache. Sometimes you don't even know what causes headache. Sometimes it's gas. I can tell you that happens to me. I seldom have headache. And if I have a little headache, I said, okay, what is this now? I don't know, I have a headache. And I might find a start belching. So, okay, this is it. I may go and drink something and that's it, it's gone. So I'm just saying, I'm not saying anybody's headache is gas. No, misquote me. But I'm saying these are some of the things that can cause us to worry. So we may start worrying about everyday's possibilities, such as health, danger, you're going on the road, or whatever danger, unemployment, and so on. And these disruptions in the individuals cause individuals' ability to either function, negatively or positively. And other symptoms include headaches, fatigue, and nausea, right? These are things that we can experience as a result of anxiety Also numbness in the hands and the feet, tension and pains in the muscles, difficulty, and I said this already, breathing and swallowing, difficulty concentrating. So these are things that anxiety can cause if we become too overstressed. These things can occur. So we can check when these things are happening. And if we check and we find that, we start to relieve, we feel a little bit better, then we realize that our situation may not, what we were really fantasizing. Because sometimes the first thing we worry when we start to feel a little headache or tension, we say, wow, I have to go because maybe something is radically wrong. But we realize that it's just a little whatever, we be more relaxed in our minds, on our mind state, and be able to deal with things more comfortably. And there's a topic, for example, that men and females go through, which they call menopause. That men go through, I think it's called andropause or something like that, and the female go through menopause. And these are some of the same symptoms that females go through, and some men. Fortunately, some persons go through it, without any of these symptoms. Yeah, given whatever, many persons, because if they understand their bodies, they go through some of these things without, much of these symptoms really affecting them, maybe to some, limited rate. So the numbness in the hands and the feet, tension and pains in the muscles, and difficulty concentrating, trembling, twitching. You can't sit steady. Sometimes you just become so nervous, you're excited and so on. These are just anxiety trends that sometimes call to be this way. Restlessness, sweating, oversweating, insomnia, hot flashes, and rashes. And these also, like I said, are symptoms of menopause and andropause. I don't know much about the andropause because I've never really, I did a little studies on that aspect of it, yes. But I know the menopause part of it. These are some of the things that the menopause highlights that persons go through. Persons, like I said, go through some of these same symptoms. So if persons are going through these things, and you just check and see how best you can relax, be calm, and check your mind state to ensure that you're not overworked. Check your mind state to say that you're not over anxious. And if it continues, then treat your body well, eat right, rest right, do your medical checks, yes, and all of those things. And if you don't see, reasonable cause for concern, then it could be just minor matter to some extent. And the words of God are here to guide us. And those are prominent, because there are so many scriptures, gird the lines of your mind, and so many other scriptures from the Bible that highlights, telling us not to worry, and telling us fear or not, and all of them. Why the sparrows don't worry, and all those scriptures, we can use them to embrace our mind and to help ourselves when anxiety set in, or when fear set in, or when worry set in, or when depression sets in, or when all of these set in. We can know then that we are to really check ourselves before we go overboard. So we know then that we are on a path to wholeness, or we are on a path where we need help. When we are on a path of wholeness, it means that we are really, like I said earlier, we are overcoming, and we can be able to be more relaxed and be more steady in our mind states and so on. So our mood swings and our mind states and all of these things are really useful as humans, and we need to get a grip with ourselves and know how best we can help ourselves to be able to help others in this old Christian pathway, and as, like I said, so social and emotional beings going on in a real world. So I think at this point, I'm gonna pause here, and if there's anybody who has a concern and you like to highlight something that I've said, or if you have a question that you like to ask, I can give you the opportunity, and you can really make your input, whether you want to ask a question, or if you need something that you like me to, give some more highlight on, then I'll do so. I give a pause for that. Anybody? I'm not hearing anybody. So I think I can come down now at this point. Hopefully we'll be able to, I don't know, but hopefully this may be able to help some persons in distant lands, because somebody, I was talking to somebody today who really was in a state of, needing emotional help. And the person was saying, I wasn't really highlighting much of these really, but the person was saying, oh, how much they really wanted to hear some of these positive things. And they are hopeful that they'll be able to get some of these, hints to really help in stressful situations. So I'm just saying here in coming down that I hope some of these things will be beneficial, and that we'll be able to override our situations as we go from time to time in a real world, and as Christians in a real church setting. God bless you in Jesus' name. At this time, our pastor will come with the closing remarks.
Praise the Lord. Greetings again, brethren. And thank you, Evangelist Thorpe, again for presentation tonight. And sometimes as human beings, we really want to get into some of